Last week, we found out that Project Titan was being reorganized and that maybe they were changing their focus on becoming a provider of software and autopilot and that kind of stuff. So it felt a little bit weird. Why can't they get a car out the door? Why can't they get a partnership done? And I think now we're probably finding out that they're going to buy McLaren. And then, listen, this is a very sexy car company that makes high-performance cars. And that makes sense because they could make a very compelling product with McLaren's assets and high performance and materials. It would be a very big acquisition for them, right? $2, $3, $4 billion. Who knows what the price will wind up being? But this is for sure the strongest sign we're seeing yet, aside from hiring 1,000 engineers, that we'll see an Apple car. How long will it take? I don't think we see it before 3, 4, 5 years. But you know, if you have all those Apple stores, seeing a beautiful, sexy P1 type car, hopefully an electric one, not a gas car, would be pretty amazing, and I think people will buy the car. I don't think Tesla has anything to worry about. I think that this is, again, a 4, 5, 6-year project, but this certainly starts them on second base.
But Josh, we had thought that Apple's ambitions for cars were maybe in the dashboard. It was the software. It was the way that you would actually power the car, not necessarily the body, the steel, the hard assets behind cars. Does this change your view of what Apple's ambitions in the auto industry is, and how much do you think they would prioritize this? Because $2 billion for a company with $200 billion and more in cash is just a drop in the bucket.
Well, look, I think Apple is in this really interesting position right now that they've sold, billion-plus iPhones, kind of the luxury phone item, and they're trying to figure out what other luxury type of items they can actually expand to. A car sure seems like one. I, too, thought it was going to be much more of a software play, provide this very different experience, this Apple-like experience when you get into the car. But it certainly makes sense that the focus on design and staying at this very high end of quality would be where they'd want to be. And look, as you said, it's sort of a drop in the bucket to them to try to get into a trillion-dollar market like the auto industry.
The way Apple tends to talk about this stuff, it makes me think, having followed the company for a while, that they really ideally like to control the entire experience from the store where the car is sold, though we know there's controversy around dealing with dealers, to selling and making the entire car itself. I mean, when you think about what Tim Cook has really accomplished, just sort of as a businessman and really as a technologist, it's the mass production of extremely intricate and powerful technology just at a scale that we hadn't seen before as far as consumer products. So if they can do that with cars as well, there's a huge amount of potential in it. We see these little moves or see glimpses of these little moves and think we know what's going on, but it sort of makes sense they'd reorganize the project as it rolls along if they're planning to incubate something and then figure out what bigger they need to buy, perhaps.
But it's one thing to buy a startup and then fold it if it doesn't end up working out or if the project doesn't proceed the way that Apple expected. To buy a company that has a brand like McLaren, you can't mess that up.
Sure you can.
Well, you shouldn't.
Hopefully you wouldn't. Give it time. Give it time.
Jason, does it? I mean, people are checking Tesla's price action today to see the level of disappointment, and it has crossed into the red. But I wonder how much people had emotionally invested in the idea that it would be Tesla or will be Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Tesla is probably, when they got those 400,000 pre-orders for the third generation car, I think the train left the station. There was no way Apple was going to be able to pay a premium on top of Tesla's stock price. And Tesla has escape velocity now. They have a bigger vision of being an energy company, from the solar panels to putting the battery packs on and to having the car. And anybody who's been to the Gigafactory realizes the ambition level that Elon and the team at Tesla has is much greater than just cars. So, but Apple now is going to become a house of brands. They're getting comfortable with the idea, post Steve Jobs, I think, that they can buy brands and become a steward of the McLaren brand, become a steward of the Beats brand. So we're going to see a house of brands, and I think that's a great evolution for Apple because, listen, they're not putting out all-star products anymore. In fact, they're trying to catch up to Samsung and catch up to Fitbit on their current, launch of the iPhone 7 and the Apple Watch 2. So this is a good choice for them, is to put that huge stack of cash to work buying incredible brands around the world. They were going to buy some watch brands as well. So I think they should put that chip stack to work, and this might be the beginning of something. We might start seeing $10 billion acquisitions, $20 billion acquisitions from Apple, which will help them catch up to Facebook, which obviously has no problem spending tens of billions of dollars, and Microsoft buying LinkedIn. This is what Apple needs to do, and it's a great sign for Apple shareholders, I think, that they're being this bold, if this is in fact happening.
Right.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.